Teaching 12. 1. Blessed are you on this dawn of holy remembrance, in which men honor the memory of the Messiah. 2. Not only do I come to bring you hope, but also beautiful realities. 3. The torment of sorrows which you bear during your lifetime will be of short duration. All this will pass and you will cease to weep and suffer. 4. The existence of a man on earth is only an instant in eternity, a breath of life which animates the human being for a time and later it separates in order to animate a new body. 5. Be thankful that no pain is lasting. Your suffering is temporary and it will disappear very soon. 6. The period of atonement and purification is brief for him who sees his trials with spirituality. On the other hand, he who is clothed with materialism will take a long time and what really passes very soon. 7. As the palpitations of your heart pass, in the same way does the life of men pass into infinity. 8. There is no reason to fear, for in the same way that one sighs, as one sheds a tear or utters a word, so will the suffering in men also disappear. 9. Within the infinite tenderness of God, all your pains and sorrows will have to vanish. 10. If suffering hurts you, it is not that it is conveyed to you from me, but because you have pursued it beforehand, and the law of justice has to be fulfilled. 11. Nevertheless, no one is forsaken. All of you have someone who encourages and looks after you. You have many loves behind the veil of the flesh. But you do not know them, nor are you aware in what manner they love you from the hereafter. They are spirits that inhabit the realm of light, who help and comfort their younger brethren, the weak, the fallen, and the sick. 12. The illuminated are the exalted envoys of the Lord, who bearing important and delicate missions to fulfill, come to direct and to look after all that has been entrusted to them. 13. I call them illuminated, for they have allowed my seed of love to flourish within their spirit. These are the illuminated who you still do not know, because you lack spiritual sensitivity. 14. In order for my presence to be felt by you, it became necessary for my thoughts to resound through a spokesman. But truly I say, the universe is filled with spiritual vibrations which you could also hear if your preparation and spiritual capability would permit it. 15. I had to speak to you through this means in order to make myself heard, because I come to liberate you from your chains of ignorance, to break those ties which hinder you and help you to truly understand my doctrine. 16. He who is tied to worldly weaknesses will not be able to feel me completely. No man with a hardened heart can reach perfection. 17. I have to make myself felt in your heart so that you may understand me, and many times I must repeat my teachings, waiting for the moment in which you will come prepared to receive me. 18. It is necessary that you understand that I have come to break the chains which have converted you into slaves of suffering, to liberate you from afflictions which you yourselves have caused and made lasting because you repeat your errors and imperfections. However, if you are foolish in your unrighteousness, I am constant in my love to save you. And if you were to descend into miry pits or to the lowest depths of your passions, I will go to seek the lost to take them to the kingdom of light. But you need to be humble and just in order for my seed to fructify in you. 19. Truly I say that even when I observe that you have freed yourselves from what is passing or superfluous, that you have labored to withdraw from the unrighteous paths, I cannot yet say that you are already capable of guiding a people, because you still lack a great deal to attain spirituality. 20. I have also come to awaken ideals from within you so that you may free yourselves from ignorance. For with that chain which ties you to materialism, you cannot emerge as my apostles nor set examples of true love. 21. I am the Son of Truth, which dissipates the fog of your ignorance. Leave that darkness and come to receive those bright and warm rays of the inspiration of God. 22. If you already understood me, you would fully feel how I reach your spirit as wisdom, as life. And if your understanding and your heart would retain my words of light, you would soon belong to the number of the illuminated ones. 23. Oh, blessed dawn, so filled with prayers, hymns, and blessings. If at least for a few moments men would penetrate into the greatness of its significance, how much peace and how much light they would gather for their spirit. 24. Behold, O my people, observe the sky. Take a good look and you will realize that in each star there is a promise, a world that awaits you. They are mansions promised to the children of God, which everyone will come to inhabit, because all will know my kingdom, which was not created just for certain beings. It was created as a universal dwelling where all the children of God will be gathered. 25. But you must always have a clear, unclouded mind. Always be vigilant in order to feel that my inspiration reaches you. 26. When an illuminated one by my wisdom succeeds in ruling the earth, everything will be harmonious. But up to now you have not accepted my teaching. You do not desire to be governing heads of the earth, not even of a single nation. For that reason there are wars. 27. Now listen to something important that will comfort you in your pain. 28. In the future I will send you illuminated spirits, who will come as governing heads on earth, and they will permit no more wars. For they know that this planet is for all men, and that differences between nations, which goes back to the beginning of mankind, is undeniable proof of envy, resentment, mistrust, isolation, and hatred among men. 29. This dawn, lighted by the memory of my coming to this world through Jesus, has been illuminated more with your elevation. 30. Do not forsake the practice of prayer even when it is as brief as only 5 minutes, but in it know how to make a good examination with the light of your conscience, in order to observe your deeds and know what you have to correct. 31. If you lose the sense of time while elevating yourself in prayer, that will be an indication of spirituality, since you, even for a few moments, manage to go beyond time, that time which the slaves of materialism only use for their enjoyments or to increase their wealth. 32. He who examines himself daily has to improve his manner of thinking, living, speaking, and feeling. 33. The spiritual evolution of man, his transformation, his regeneration and elevation, are the reason for the manifestation of my word in this world. 34. I want you to reach perfection, to work for your happiness and your peace. 35. If you still do not take the right path after having that daily examination with your conscience, you will be responsible for your setbacks, your falls and errors. 36. If some of my lessons are not properly interpreted because they were transmitted by a spokesman, who in speech, then go to the spiritual portion of the word without stopping because of that poorness of expression, and you will find in the truth of my doctrine the divine essence of my teachings. 37. To many who listen to my word, it appears that it is the greatest lesson which can possibly be received on earth today. To others it seems to be lacking in truth. But this is not the first time that my revelations have been denied by men. 38. Many teachers and emissaries have come to this world, and when they have begun to sow my seed of truth and love, you have destroyed them because the darkness of mankind has not endured so much light. 39. The prophets, the patriarchs, the seers have been the martyrs, victims of human wickedness, because men have not been able to understand the truth which emanated from their lips, nor the goodness of those hearts. 40. All the illuminated ones have known the cross of suffering, with all its pains and bitterness which men know how to inflict upon their brethren. 41. Those pains are necessary for every teacher. They are thorns over which he has to tread, and bitterness which he has to know, in order to manifest the greatness of his Spirit in the midst of them. 42. That road you still do not know, but you will have to discover and travel it. When filled with strength which love offers, you will arise inspired by me. 43. For you love is a beautiful word, but up to now you have not penetrated into its true meaning. 44. He who is a teacher knows what his destiny is and blesses it, and he knows the destiny of his fellow men. 45. And what is your destiny? The same one which the Master of Masters lived long ago, and that which all my envoys have been entrusted with. It is saving, loving, and redeeming all sinners. 46. Your destiny is to be an illuminated one and a prophet. Someday you will be that, and then you will know the bitterness of those who came to trace the path for you. At the same time, you will know the love and strength which accompanied them in their journey. 47. All of them had to triumph in their inner struggle in the supreme moment of their suffering and trials. And that way, when their conscience asked them if they wished to withdraw from their mission or remain among the people who put them to death, they answered that they were resolved to continue with their people, for that was their mission, although their fellow men did not understand it thus. They remained firm among those whom they loved, as long as a breath of life remained in them. They were aware that the darkness of mankind had to be dispelled. But truly I say to you, no selfish interest motivated them, even though their reward was reserved for them in my kingdom. 48. I am the book for all, and as proof of it, I am here before you. I will continue with you because I love you and you need me. To conquer glory, you have two pathways to follow by your own free will, that of love and that of suffering. But truly I say to you, in whatever path you choose, I will accompany you as the Cyrenian. When you too know the elevated sentiments of a purifying spirit, you will say, I will remain with the sinners. 49. I ask those who have toiled with love in my work, what have you felt when you have been occupied in righteousness, for the benefit of others? 50. You say to me, Master, an aura has surrounded us, and a force has compelled us to keep up without weariness or fatigue. 51. Are you tired of listening to me? No, Master, you say to me, neither have I tired of being with you since the beginning of your creation. 52. I give you my teachings, divine advice, laws and rules for an eternity, and sometimes on putting my words into practice, you have given a lesson with your charity, working for the good of others. 53. If any of you are not moved by my teaching, he would be similar to a rock. But all of you are attentive to my word, for before this light no one can remain insensitive. 54. Someone asks me, Master, why are there some who bring great missions to earth, while others do not? And I say to you that men who have a small mission today will be the greatly illuminated tomorrow. 55. Live always on the alert. For along your path there will be some who will say that they are with me, but do not believe them at the first moment. Believe them for what they manifest in humility, in wisdom, in love. 56. Others will tell you that they communicate with me, but they are the first to be deceived. For that reason you must always be vigilant in the mission that you have and the position that you occupy. You need to see, hear, and also forgive a great deal, too. 57. You need to know much so that you may tell them which is the true path and how they can liberate themselves from bondage and ignorance. Understand that you are also obligated to demonstrate the truth that you preach with your deeds. 58. This planet will be transformed because men will spiritualize themselves, and then they will offer a perfect worship to God. 59. The moment of silence has come, the moment of your communion with me. For in the same way that the ocean waves blend with one another, you will unite with my divine spirit. A silence not only in the lips, but also within the inner temple of man, because it is your spirit which speaks to me, and it is a solemn moment. 60. Enter into silence and listen to me, O travelers of many pathways who carry the dust of different roads. Let me be the light in your destiny. 61. From different religions you have come to hear this word by which you have learned that the only spiritual law, the only true doctrine, which will reign over all men, will be the one to love one another. But this doctrine will be spread by the illuminated ones with these teachings, not the prevaricators, nor the unrighteous preachers of eternal hell. 62. In the lips of my new emissaries falsehood and blasphemy will not dwell. They will not teach the doctrine of a God who is unjust, cruel, merciless, and powerless to save all his children, but about a God of true love and perfect justice. 63. I will not even say to Y6U that this doctrine of spirituality will be a worldwide religion, because I never granted you a religion, but a law. I limit myself to telling you that the law that will triumph on earth, and which will be established in it to illuminate the existence of men, will be the law of love, which I have explained in my doctrine so that you understand it fully. 64. Mankind will still perform many false deeds of love and charity until it learns to love and practice true charity. And many will go from religion to religion until their spirit elevates itself in knowledge and reaches an understanding that the only law, the universal and eternal doctrine of the Spirit, is the law of love which everyone will attain. 65. All the religions will disappear, and only the light of the temple of God will remain shining within and outside of man, in which everyone will render only one worship of obedience, of love, of faith and goodwill. 66. Your conscience is prompt to call to your attention each one of your steps, and it will make you feel uneasy when you disobey my law. Then you make a promise not to sin again. 67. I have also observed those who silently comfort and heal the sick, those who without fanfare are able to impart the exact word which saves, guides, and strengthens. 68. While listening to me, your heart is ennobled, and the spirit elevates itself above the egotism of the flesh in order to think of others and make their pains and trials its own. Your wish is that there should be no war, because you are beginning to love peace. Nevertheless, war will follow its course of destruction and death, for still not all men think nor feel as you do at this moment. But the time allowed to those in power is short. Soon you will see their domination and power reduced to ashes. 69. What will be the debt of those men before God, and how will they be able to pay it? Only I know that. But truly I say that no one will escape the law of restitution. That is why I say to you, while they keep on destroying the world which God granted them to live in, you be watchful and pray for your brethren, for they know not what they do. For if they did, they would be constricting all they have destroyed with their tears, with their blood, and even with their life. 70. Continue praying for the peace of the world. That is your responsibility. Pray for men to understand and love one another. 71. If men would understand that the earth has been created for all and would learn to share in a just way with their brethren all the material and spiritual treasures with which their existence is sold, truly I say that here on earth you would begin to feel the peace of the spiritual kingdom. 72. I have been among you, although once again I say that I have not descended into the flesh. I have only conveyed my divine thoughts into a human cerebrum, where they have been converted into words. 73. If someone says that it is impossible for me to communicate with mankind by this means because I am infinite, and that you are not worthy of receiving me, I say to you, before noticing your smallness, I manifest myself to you because you need me. 74. My divine spirit does not recognize distances or barriers. Whatever the form, I am with you because my presence is universal. 75. Soon I will not avail myself of these spokesmen, for this means of communication will cease in 1950. I am your father and you are my children. Learn to speak to me directly. Do you not remember how the divine master taught you during that period? Remember that Jesus did not seek intermediaries in order to speak to the Father. 76. My word, my lecture, apparently is only for you, but truly I say that it is for everyone, because its wisdom and love embraces all of the universe. It unifies all the worlds and all the incarnated and discarnated spirits. Come near if you need me. Seek me if you feel lost. 77. I am your Father who knows your afflictions and comes to comfort you. I come to infuse my love, which you need so much for yourselves and to spread around you. 78. If you truly recognize my presence through the wisdom that I manifest through these faculties, recognize also that it is the moment to begin the constructive work along the spiritual path. 79. Oh, if only all those who have been called would attend. Truly I say that the table of the Lord would be filled with disciples and all would partake of the same nourishment. But not all those invited have come. They have feigned other occupations, relegating the divine call to second place. 80. Blessed are the ones who have come promptly, for they have their reward. 81. Man throughout the times, but more today than in the past, has felt master of his actions, independent of all spiritual law. He has become an egotistical being who thinks only of himself. His heart is void of love toward the rest, and that is why humanity has come to resemble an immense desert, dry and arid. Would men in this state be able to unite, understand, and help one another in a sincere and noble manner? No. If they do not remove the bad seed from their hearts, mankind will keep on destroying itself. They will distrust one another and will keep on quarreling while they are lacking in love. 82. That is the earth whereupon I have come to sow my seed during the third era, for which I am preparing a multitude of laborers, a people whose hearts will withdraw from egotism, reflect about my truth, and be converted to righteousness. 83. But before approaching me, you have searched for happiness and peace for yourselves, without thinking of giving up your own well-being to gain that of others, or putting before your desire the necessities of your fellow men. 84. When you comply with the law of love, you will have reached your unification and harmony. You will cease to suffer, and the peace of all nations, not realized by men up to now, will come to pass among mankind. 85. With a little spirituality, how easy it would be for men to understand one another. 86. I ask those who recognize this doctrine as the truth capable of saving and uniting mankind. Why do you not resolve to practice it? By chance, are you satisfied to follow it as a simple philosophy or just another theory? 87. Man wants to save himself without recognizing his spiritual nature. And that is his greatest error. While he lives and feels strong on earth, he manages to forget every idea which speaks to him about eternity and the spiritual life. He does not lose that intuition, but he neglects it, and only when death is near and he feels the agony in him, he wishes to make amends in an instant and make up for lost time. But by then it will be too late, for not all will be gained by repentance. It is the law of justice to reap what has been sown. Although repentance will enable one to endure his restitution with love and patience, which in reality will be his work of restoration and regeneration. 88. You are listening and at the same time accepting that I speak to you with truth. You allow your conscience to speak to you, and it says that many times your faith was only apparent, for you were not certain of an eternal existence for the Spirit. Certainly you had thought of enjoying your existence fully on earth, and prepare yourself for that step toward the spiritual life when the last moment was reached. The idea of a life after this one was like a deposit of faith, in order to resort to it when the moment came, and then be able to bypass the anguished moments of your departure. 89. I ask you, is that the way man should live? Is that the way that you show your faith in the Father and obtain a true spiritual elevation? 90. Meditate on all that I have said in this teaching, and you will end up understanding that man has always been wrong with his egotistical and material sentiments. 91. Analyze my doctrine, which comes to reveal to man the communication of spirit to spirit by means of love, and all the virtues derived from it, as well as the senses and gifts of the Spirit. And tell me if that is not the key which can open for mankind the gates of peace and eternal wisdom. 92. In the 3 years into which I have divided the evolution of mankind, I have come to show you with my light the same straight and narrow way for the elevation of the Spirit, the only path of love, truth, and justice. 93. I have guided you from teaching to teaching, from revelation to revelation, until you have reached this period in which I have announced that you are able to communicate with me from spirit to spirit. Could mankind have communicated with me in that manner during the first era? No. It was necessary that it be aided by a material worship, with rituals and ceremonies, with a traditional feast and with symbols in order to feel closer to the divine and the spiritual. From that inability to approach the spiritual, to elevate themselves toward the divine, to know what is profound and to clarify all mysteries. The different religions appear, each one according to the grade of backwardness or spiritual advancement of men. Some are more devoted to the truth than others, some are more spiritualized than others, but all were striving toward the same goal. It is the path which all spirits have traveled throughout the centuries and eras, a path followed by the different religions. Some have advanced very slowly, others are at a standstill, and still others have falsified and contaminated it. 94. A new era has unfolded before mankind. It is the era of light, whose presence indicates a halt along the spiritual path of all men. This will enable them to awaken, meditate, and rid themselves of their heavy burden of traditions, fanaticism, and errors, in order to arise later to a new light. 95. Some sooner and others later, all religions and sects will be arriving before the invisible temple, before the temple of the Holy Spirit which is present in my work, firm as a column which rises toward infinity, awaiting men of all peoples and lineages. 96. When all have penetrated the interior of my sanctuary to pray and meditate, one and all will reach the same understanding of my truth. That is why, once that stop along the way is ended, everyone will arise together guided by the same law and will have to render worship in the same manner to the Father. 97. Why should anyone be surprised at my new revelations? Truly I say to you that the patriarchs of ancient times already had a knowledge of the coming of this era, and seers of other periods beheld it, and the prophets announced it. It was a divine promise made to men, a long time before I, as Jesus, came to the world. 98. When I announced to my disciples my new coming and allowed them to foresee the way in which I would manifest myself to men. A long time had already passed since that promise was made. 99. Here you have that period unfolding before you. Here you have those prophecies being fulfilled. Who should be surprised? Only those who have slumbered in darkness, or the ones who erase my promises from themselves. 100. Here you have my light awaiting for everyone to detain them in their path. For I will demonstrate to them the spiritual treasure which they carry with them, but which they have not been able to discover. I will convince them that they have scrutinized what is material long enough, that they have already yielded to what is temporary and fleeting. I will teach them to seek within their own spirit the conscience, which is the divine essence that I have placed in each man. 101. Truly I say to you, all that is great and good that exists in the Spirit, you have never offered it, for you are not even aware of it. How will you love one another with the perfection that I taught you, when you do not recognize each other as brethren? You need to take the essence that your spirit carries, in order for your love to be a true love, and your charity to be a true charity. Something more than vain words, something more than miserable coins, something more than crusts of bread left upon your table, and which are the only means that you use to make yourself believe that you practice charity and that you love one another. 102. How beautiful your world will be when men discover in their spirit that blessed treasure with which their Creator endowed them since the very beginning of their creation. 103. I leave you this lesson so that through it you may look at the past seeking your beginning. You will examine your present and afterward look toward the future which awaits you, filled with wisdom, activity, struggle, and divine compensations. 104. You are sinners, but you love me, and when you remember me, you try to please me by practicing charity with your brethren. You are sinners, and I am aware of it. But you are able to pray when you have an affliction. You are sinners, but you are able to share your bread with whoever comes to your door to ask for charity. 105. For all the good that you do hoping to please me, receive my caress, feel my comfort, receive my blessing. My peace be with you.